128th is our answer to a neighborhood coffee shop, a neighborhood cafe. Growing up in France and going to college in France, there was these restaurants that were very simple, straightforward food with good desserts, good coffee, good beverage program, with some alcohol as well, with some cocktails. And so we kind of wanted to recreate that in the fort, and we thought that with all the amount of restaurants opening, we kind of just wanted a really small, cozy place with a nice outdoor courtyard experience where someone could just sit outside for hours on end, come back every day, eat that same salad, and still not get sick of it. So that was kind of the driving direction behind it. I actually, if you go around Makati, if you go around the fort, if you go around any place, it's very rare to find an alfresco courtyard that's kind of on the street, yet shaded from the street by being interiors. And then usually what that happens is, and you have a lot of these in France or New York, and there's a natural updraft of air that comes out, so it's never really too hot. And I'm a huge fan of eating and drinking outside, and I think that's something that locally isn't yet generally accepted. People still want to be in air-conditioned places, but we really wanted to make a statement by making half of the restaurant outside. And then so the interiors is really just playing around with the environment. If you're outside here, the colors, we obviously are following the color scheme of the Alveo building. We just wanted to use a lot of natural colors, some black and white, which is the pattern you see in all the paintings that we have inside and outside. And tying in, because we don't really do Filipino food, but we wanted to create a Filipino cafe, which means just a cafe experience with a strong Filipino identity. So the design is inspired by that, but it doesn't necessarily mean we're doing Filipino food. Alright, so this is chicken sambal. The sambal is extremely unauthentic. It's just the way we like to eat it. So it's a nice chili, spicy dish with some brown rice that is just fried a little bit. So it gives you that amount of carbs and proteins that you need. The chicken here is chicken thigh, which is probably my favorite part of the chicken because it's healthy, and not only is it healthy, it has a bit of a higher percentage of fat, which means it's a little bit more tender, so it's very hard to mess up cooking, and it's extremely delicious. And then obviously some fried okra. I'm a huge okra fan, especially when it's deep fried, so it's kind of like the Southern U.S. style. And then nice pickles, cucumber pickles, homemade cucumber pickles in there just to balance everything with the acidity. It's actually one of my favorite dishes. After a workout, this is what I eat. I'm a huge fan of big, hefty salads. If I could have a menu just with salads, I would, because I think it's probably one of the best proportion dishes because you have a little bit of vegetables, a little bit of greens, some herbs, some proteins. You can really mix anything you want in a salad and just bring it together with a nice simple dressing. So this one's a chipotle chicken salad, which is also a nice spicy version of chicken with some radishes, some beets, some quinoa, which is high in protein but also has some good carbs in it. Then you have some leafy greens like coriander, you have some lettuce in there, everything nice and chopped. It might look like a dainty little salad, but when you pick it up, it's actually nice and healthy. So this is what we wanted to do, is really give people the option for lunch or for dinner to just have a salad as a meal. So who doesn't like a stack of bacon? So what we did here is we wanted to make pancakes, but we didn't want to make pancakes that were too common, so that's why they're black. It's actually buckwheat. Where I come from in France, the west side of France, they do crepes with what they call sarrasin, which is really a dark buckwheat flour. What's great about buckwheat is that it's gluten-free. Doesn't mean it's healthy for you, it's just gluten-free, so people that have celiac disease or gluten intolerance can actually eat these pancakes. It makes you feel a little bit better about yourself. It's a nice whole grain. There's a nice stack of bacon on there, some dried pineapple, some coconut shreds, so it has a little Filipino version to it, and then of course served with some nice maple syrup. So this is basically the dish I would order like on a Sunday or a Saturday when I've done my workout and I kind of just want to say, you know, good job for a week well done. So what we have here is a hanger steak. If you go to any of my restaurants, you'll see that I have hanger steak on the menu. Two reasons. It's not expensive, so you can actually put it at a very affordable price for people who just want a piece of meat and steak. And then the second time, it actually is one of the beefier cuts of meat, if that makes any sense. Basically, hanger, flank, skirt, these kinds of meats, they don't have as much fat as the ribeyes or the sirloins or the strip loins that you usually see in restaurants here, because they're a bit more intense and a bit more beefy when it comes to flavor profiles. I love them. In Paris, you go to a restaurant or a cafe, you only usually have flank, hanger, or skirt that's served. you don't really serve ribeyes and things like that because it's not something that's affordable every day. So we serve that with a corn relish. So it's white corn, yellow corn, mixed with some tomatoes and everything. So it's like basically like we want to do like a throwback, like a bean adobo, but like a salty version of it. So it's nice and homey, nice and hearty. And then on the side we have some potato croquettes or hush puppies, if you want to call them, with a nice natural shrimp on top of it. So it's a very comforting dish, but it's also very well proportioned so that you don't feel too full after it. Like you feel really satisfied with the dish, and it's a great balance of protein and veggies. So what we have here, obviously we wanted to do breakfast as well. So I'm a huge fan of Benedict's. Yeah, I know it's probably on every menu, everyone that does breakfast, but I absolutely love Benedict's, so that's why we put it on. The muffins are homemade. They're actually made in hatch. And then we put, instead of a poached egg, we put a sous vide egg, so we make sure that it's cooked at center temperature, so you have that perfect yolk and perfect egg white that I like in my Benedict's. Some nice homemade cured bacon, nice chunky bits, some mushrooms, and it's a torched citrus hollandaise that we just put on and then we just torch it. And obviously, like with most of our dishes here, we serve it with a nice composed green salad. So it's a well-rounded dish, and it's something that's perfect for 8, 9, 10 a.m. breakfast before going to work. So what we have here is basically our signature cake. Our pastry chef Carmela came up with this. It's and she has some French heritage, so she loves what we call citron, which is basically a citrus lemon cake. So this is a Filipino version of it. It's a calamansi cake, so it has a nice sponge exterior, has a nice crunchy interior, and then a nice frosting as well with some nice almonds, toasted almonds. So it's a very well balanced cake. And it's perfect with, we made it this consistency because it's perfect with coffee or tea, so you kind of have the moisture of the drinks that pairs directly and perfectly with the sponginess of the cake, and the texture and the acidity is quite cold, so this is probably one of my favorite cakes that we serve. So Carmela wanted to put a nice cheesecake on the menu, so this is a nice traditional golden baked cheesecake with a very thin crust, but how we change it up a bit to more of our style. And she really likes white chocolate, so she infused white chocolate in there, and it's served with another white chocolate reduction sauce and a little bit of strawberry jam. So it's a nice, balanced, tart, sweet cheesecake that everyone loves for sure. So this is Carmela's ensaymada bread pudding. So we use the ensaymadas that we have. We turn that into a nice bread pudding, some apples, and a nice tres leches sauce on top of it. So it's very dense, very sweet, and it's comfort in a plate. And this is actually one of the ones people order a lot of because it's just the perfect portion, the perfect bite if you just want that little sweet touch after a meal or when you're going through your time.